on that last mushroom, about to eat it, and then I barfed the whole thing up right all on her silverware, right up in her face. Hello everyone, it's Zahra. We're back eating some, I guess, Italian food. What do you call it?
We got it from a place called Pizza House, so I guess it serves a lot of Italian American food.
So I have a pizza sub and steak fries, and you have a...
Can people see it? What does it look like?
See, pizza sub, steak fries might be blown out, not sure. Yeah. And you have...
I have a, what do they call it? Steamed veggie pita. So I think it's just broccoli, mushrooms, and onions. And then I have some sauce to go along with it right here. Some people might say this is not fully vegan because it's honey mustard sauce. But it's honey mustard sauce that we got from the Pizza House, and also some that we made. I made my own honey mustard sauce, which is more than likely better than Zara's, but I will.
She has like rice vinegar, cayenne pepper in it. I just think it's a bit much, you know.
You should taste mine. Okay. So we're gonna dig in. So I'm kind of like, I'm not pissed, but Pizza House is way too expensive. I don't know if this meal is worth $36. It was $18 for steamed veggies, and a pita. $18. And then how much was yours?
I'd gone to $14.
$14. I just don't get this. Why is this $18? I would say this meal actually costs probably total, and I'm being generous, $2.
Probably.
For them, for a restaurant.
I just think, I don't know, I went to Pizza House a lot when I was a kid. It used to be my favorite restaurant. But I just asked for banana peppers, and then basically the whole thing is banana peppers. Like, there's no cheese, there's hardly any sauce. The bread is basic.
Oh, so this is not vegan?
Yeah, it's not vegan.
It's vegetarian?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Basically, I'm eating banana peppers. You see? Look at that. Where is anything?
That cheese looks like it's stuck in the bottom. Show a close up. It looks ugh.
Look, you see that? Might be a bit blurry, but there's hardly any sauce, hardly any cheese, and it's basically like a salad of banana peppers. So.
But anyway, now that we've complained about the food and the price, we're gonna eat it. This used to be my favorite, like, takeout meal. I know it's just veggies, but with the sauce, it's really, really good. And there's nothing wrong with veggies. I like veggies. Zara would never try this because she doesn't like mushrooms.
Oh,
she hates mushrooms.
I want to tell the mushroom story.
Oh,
basically, as a child, I was very, intellectual, and I was very outward about my feelings, and I kept telling this beautiful woman over here that I do not care for mushrooms at all. And she kept saying, oh, sorry, you need to try them, you need to taste them. And I'm like, I have tasted them. And even if I had it, I could smell it from a mile away when you cook them. They're like absolutely disgusting. So she's like, okay, I'm basically going to make a whole barrel of mushrooms just for you. And just grill them the worst way to do it. Like, if I had to eat mushrooms, it would be cold, but she decides to cook them. Puts it in front of my child's face and decides, oh, you have to eat these for dinner, and if you don't, you're getting nothing else. And so basically, I eat all these mushrooms. She's like, see, it wasn't that bad. And then next thing you know,
First of all,
wait. I'm on that last mushroom, about to eat it. And then I barfed the whole thing up all on her silverware, right up in her face. And she's just like, oh, I guess you don't like mushrooms. And I was just like, I've been telling you this forever.
You just never know when a kid is just saying stuff so they can get out of eating their vegetables. I never saw you really eat mushrooms, so I just thought you were making it up. End of story. Not that dramatic.
It is dramatic.
Actually, I'm not the biggest fan of mushrooms. I actually think they put too many mushrooms in here. I mean, they're okay. I don't dislike mushrooms. Well, let me put it this way. Do I dislike mushrooms?
You just like different types.
I like different types. Like, I really like the small mushrooms. What's the kind of they try to give you as a veggie burger alternative?
Shiitake?
Is that the huge mushroom? The really big mushroom.
I think
and they
shiitake.
basically just grill it and slap some sauce on it and say here.
Yeah.
I don't like that. Because I don't really like the texture of mushrooms. And then, unless they're like, there's some kind of sauce or maybe lightly stir-fried, I'm not really into mushrooms. But, I mean, I can eat them. But I'm not like a big mushroom fan. It's just, it is what it is, you know?
Mm-hmm. But then why do you eat them?
Because it comes, I mean, I guess I could say no mushrooms in the steamed veggies and it would just be onions and broccoli. Because, it's not like, ooh, if the mushrooms are missing, I wouldn't say, ooh, something is wrong with the sandwich.
Mm-hmm. If you could replace the mushrooms, what would you do instead?
I mean, I think peppers would be good.
Mm-hmm.
Like some red peppers or orange peppers. And some, I think peppers. Not zucchini, because I don't like the texture of zucchini. It's worse than mushrooms. Especially steamed zucchini.
Mm-hmm.
It's like mushy. Can't do that. Probably just peppers. I can't think of any other. Maybe Brussels sprouts. If they were like sauteed and seasoned nicely.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do that. But it's a steam, so really what I'm eating is the sauce. What's giving it flavor is like a lot of flavor is the sauce. So, but I don't know if this was worth $18. Actually, I said I wasn't even going to buy this anymore. The last time I got this was like, 4 months ago, 5 months ago. And I was like, once I learned how to make the sauce, and it's really easy, I was like, why am I even buying this? Because really the highlight is the sauce. So I just made it at home a couple times, some steamed veggies, and put some sauce on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, the thrill is gone. Anyway, how's your sandwich?
So. I just keep thinking I could make it myself.
You could make that.
And it's just so many banana peppers. And I feel like
Did you say extra?
No, I just said banana peppers. I assume when you say pizza sauce, you just put some sauce, cheese, and you put just a topping. Like, this is just like...
Somebody was lazy in the kitchen.
Like, I don't know what they were thinking. Like, as she was like on the phone, when she said, do you want anything else? I got kind of scared, thinking, like, am I supposed to say cheese? You know what I mean?
But you said pizza sauce.
Yeah, pizza sauce. When you think pizza sauce, there's going to be cheese on it. But I'm just saying, the way she said, is that it? As if, like, most people said, oh, and cheese. But it really looks like someone was just, like, making this, and then they put cheese on it. And oh, no, they only order banana peppers. And then there's just a salad of banana peppers on this whole thing. But...
Well, I'm actually surprised that you got it because you've been eating vegan for a few months. So
I eat vegan on occasion.
Basically, on occasion? You've been eating vegan?
No, like, I eat vegan
cheese?
That's good. But I mean, like...
I haven't seen
look, so this is how it is. I eat vegan, basically, I say 98% of the time. And then say, like, 98%. Okay. So say if I go out with a friend and they're like, oh, let's go out and eat, and there's something that I used to eat in my old life that isn't so vegan, I might indulge. But then, like, after that, I just eat everything that I usually eat here. You know what I mean? Like, when...
What is it wrong?
It's not judgmental. But we already talked about this. We said, like, oh, after we came off the fast or whatever, oh, like are you gonna go vegan or whatever? And I was just like,
said, yeah.
Yes, I'm gonna go vegan. And I said, for Thanksgiving, because macaroni and cheese. And, you know.
Well, how does that cheese taste?
I don't know how it tastes.
Oh.
It's just like, I don't know. Just eating it.
Mm.
Like, you when you eat cheese, you don't notice it's there until it's gone. Well, at least for me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, when you eating, like, when I started eating nachos without cheese, right? It just, like, this is like an atrocity, you know what I mean? And then I had the vegan cheese, and you realize something's there, and then you actually have the cheese there, and it's just like, whatever. Oh, God. Oh, my God. My floor. Jesus. Dear God. Okay. Let's get past that.
She's exaggerating.
That honey mustard on it. I'm gonna have a yellow spot on my floor.
No, you won't.
Whatever. So, okay. If you could go anywhere, since you're the travel buff, what would you like? If you could go anywhere in the world, in places you haven't gone.
Some places I haven't gone?
Yeah, places you haven't gone.
Well, you know I want to go to Colombia.
Okay, besides places you've been talking about recently.
I want to go to Cartagena and Medellin, Colombia.
Mm-hmm.
I was hoping to go this year, but
and this bread is so thin. It's like, what is that?
Yeah, show them.
I was like, I don't know what it is, but I feel like
the
it's
bread is
soggy.
usually thicker.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if this is just a me thing. It just seems like I'm basically just eating the crust of the bread. There's there's no fluff. You know what I mean? You see that?
Mm-hmm.
Look a tiny. Okay, continue. Continue.
What's that?
Cartagena, Medellin, the heat.
The heat?
Yeah.
I want to go to Greece. Greek island. I'm going to go to Portugal. I want to go to Ghana.
Why do you want to go to Greece?
Because the pictures that I've seen, this looks very peaceful. Even though I'm like a big city person, it looks very relaxing, and also this looks beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the houses that are on like cliffs and the little pathways that they have, and they're really colorful.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't know that much about. I'm not really into like if it's gonna be like another Rome, I probably won't be into it because I'm not really into like antiquity like that. You know,
mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna be like looking at old ancient structures and stuff like that. Most of the time, I probably won't be into it, but it just seems pretty. The islands, the Greek Isles. So,
if you could be a Greek god, which Greek god would you be?
I don't know that many Greek gods. Name some.
Yeah, I don't know they're all Greek. Because, I like the wicked and the divine.
Mm-hmm.
But there's, I don't know if I'm saying this right.
I don't even know what they mean, like what they do.
Well, like you saw the characters, right?
Yeah.
On pictures, on my picture page.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I don't know what those I don't know what they mean.
There's
I don't know what kind of powers they have. I don't know that whole story.
But like Persephone or Persephone, I think it's Persephone. I forgot what. There was different stories about her. But like, I don't know. I guess she's in between. Like, I think she is like. Wait. I think she's like a goddess of like somewhere on Earth, life and all that stuff. And then she ends up marrying Lucifer.
If I'm going to say I'm going to be somebody, I have. Why don't you ask me about Harry Potter? I know more about that.
Okay. Well, just give me like any gods that you know. If the ones you know, which ones would you be? You can't pick Zeus because I know that's where you're hidden.
I'm thinking of some Yoruba. Yemenya.
We were just saying that because you said you wanted to go to Greece.
Oh, yeah. I'm not trying to be a Greek god. I want to be God. I'll pick an African. I'll pick an African one.
Okay, God.
Because I know more about them.
Okay, gods in general.
Hmm.
Any god.
Or not.
Any god.
Any god?
Any culture.
I just said Yemenya.
Why?
I'm not as well versed as I used to be when I studied the religion in Yoruba, but I know that when I went for so she's goddess of the ocean. That's all I know. I probably know more, but I don't remember. I remember stuff like that. But when I was deep into it, it was like Oshun, Yemenya. What was the other one? I just looked it up. I should look it up. I should have my phone.
Distractions.
But I don't think I like mushrooms as much as I think I do, or they put a whole lot of mushrooms in here because I basically am just taking them out. So yeah. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Right.
And also, I was assigned when I went for like a divination or reading. That's the goddess that I was assigned to. It was supposed to be.
Interesting.
What makes sense?
So, I would be Persephone. Just because of the wicked and divine. That's the only reason. The most beautiful comic I've ever read. Or comic or graphic novel, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. There's way too many steamed mushrooms. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, literally. Like, really. Too many. I don't like mushrooms like that. It makes me nervous when I see too many mushrooms packed together. There's way too many mushrooms. Look at this. All this is mushrooms. Like, one or two here or there. That's fine, but this is ridiculous. Nope. I don't think I'm going back. This is it for me. And there's nothing else I really get there, so.
I feel like we're the type of people that when we eat out, we're going to get one thing. Because I can think of all the restaurants that we go around here. And we get the same exact thing every time we go. Like, it's so bad that people know what we're going to order. Remember the time when we did go back here to Pita a few days ago, and then I just said my name, and then they're like, "Oh, okay, we know what you want," and then they just hung up. And I was just like,
I wonder if you were using my phone though, because they didn't say that this time.
Yeah, but still, it freaked me out.
So yeah, because they serve pizza and pasta, and I don't really eat stuff like that. So I'm gonna eat pizza, but there's cheese on it.
You made the one from Whole Foods, right?
Yeah. So, Like these mushrooms are disturbing. I don't like them. They don't want to take them off my plate. Maybe because, like, and when I made it at home, I didn't really put any mushrooms in it. It was just broccoli and onions. So I think, yeah.
Travesty.
Way too many mushrooms. Like, I take back what I said earlier. This is ridiculous.
Let's see it. Let's show this.
And there's still more in here. That's the $18 worth right there.
You see that plate?
Probably.
That's what I ate when I was a child.
No, you didn't.
The torture I went through.
Like,
exactly
this is making me not like mushrooms. I feel like I'm going to throw up.
Disgusting.
This is
like
way
even
too
the
many.
smell.
The
The
dude
smell.
that just messed off.
I mean, that's why I just don't like mushrooms. Just the smell just goes a mile. And it's not a great smell.
If it wasn't for the honey mustard. And the pita, the pita's really good. Can't go too
Do they
wrong
give you
with
the whole wheat one, or does it come with
that.
whole
They
wheat?
give you the whole wheat one.
I've already eaten all them. The honey mustard.
Yeah. So that's it?
No. I said where you want to travel.
I already did that.
Oh.
Where do you want to travel?
Thank you. Finally. I gotta
What?
tear it out of you.
I already did it.
I don't want to be rude and just say, well, I want to.
Oh,
But what was it?
this is fresh lemon water. It's like, actually it's lime.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 2 squeezed limes and water.
The work. So, I could go anywhere.
I can go and you can go anywhere.
See, I'm not a traveling person. Okay. If I could go anywhere, I would go to... I don't know. Probably stay somewhere, like in the States. Even though I've been everywhere in the States.
You haven't gone to New Mexico.
True. I don't want to go there. So I'm just gonna... Ooh, I'm gonna go to Vietnam. Just for...
I think Vietnam was cool to play.
Just for the banh mi's. That's it.
It'll probably taste totally different.
Whatever. Banh mi's. And I also want to go to the Philippines. And then...
But are banh mi's organically, like, vegan or vegetarian? Do they make them with...
They put meat, I think. Just find a place where they're vegetarian. They just use tofu.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd go to Vietnam, and I'd go to, what is it called? Philippines. That's all I can think of right now. The places I've already gone to.
And why are you going?
Huh? Oh, because the food. That's it. I'm like, why else would I go somewhere? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's my first question when we go somewhere. Like, what we going to eat? That's why I asked you why you want to go to Greece. Just because I don't know what Greek food is. But, yeah, those 2 places. But places I've already been to, I always say Netherlands and Thailand just because they have the best food. And just because they're cool.
The Netherlands?
Yes! Cheese!
Wait,
Cheese.
first of all, you're supposed to be vegan.
I am vegan. I am
vegan.
vegan. But as a child, and then also they had that festival, the African festival where we had, I don't know what, it just had a lot of grease in it.
It was like a veggie patty. It was like a deep, was it deep fried kind of? Or
it was definitely deep fried. I think
if we find it, you can put it on you can post it. Right here.
Mm-hmm.
I'll send you a picture. But it was like a veggie, it's like a Jamaican, no, it's more like a roti. Like a Trinidadian kind of roti thing.
But you knew what it was.
I did?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe because I read the sign.
Maybe
it was kind of roti. It was probably some kind of roti. So they have a lot of people from Suriname, and the black people there are from Suriname. That would say like they were colonized by the Netherlands. So it was like an anti-slavery festival that they have every year there. It's pretty huge. So supported by the city. I think. So Yeah, so they have food, lots of food, and lots of entertainment. You know, typical festival stuff. But I've never been to an anti-slavery festival. As far as I know, there's not one in the United States. What?
Just you.
So, what? So it was really cool to go to that festival. I've never seen anything like that before. I won't even try to pronounce it. We can post that picture too.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The one thing I don't like about this, let me just say this part. I know this is good, but I think because there were so many mushrooms, it does have like a mushroom taste. Like it's like a mushroom smell. It doesn't really taste like it. It's just a smell that I'm getting because there's so many mushrooms in this thing. But the one thing I never liked about the steamed pita thing is that it gets soggy at the bottom. Mm-hmm. So usually when I would get it, I would try to eat it really fast. I don't know. They don't do a good job of draining it. Wow. Anyway, go ahead. What are you going to say?
So now I'm going to get to the nitty gritty.
What do you want to talk about?
Dave Chappelle.
Mm-hmm.
About what he said.
Mm-hmm. So you watched the whole thing? So
I watched the whole thing. I watched the part, the little clips you showed me, and I watched the beginning with the Michael Jackson mess, and I just thought absolutely nothing made sense. It was just very crude humor. Mm-hmm. And I'm like thinking to myself the whole time.
Why did that light go out?
I don't know.
Want to put it on?
Yeah.
It doesn't really change it, because I didn't know.
You should look. Must be out in juice.
Oh, there's a battery?
Mm-hmm.
Really? Where's the battery?
It's in it.
Oh, did you charge it up beforehand, or how does it charge? This is the one
that was already charged.
Oh. Okay, well, it still looks good. Kind of, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So basically, it was like that whole thing that everyone's saying. It was just like so genius. Mm-hmm. Of when he was like, he made that skit, and then he was just like, oh, and then
what skit?
Remember the skit where he was like, I don't know, he used the F word. Mm-hmm. And he got called into the office, and then they were like,
oh, okay. You talking about the Dave Chappelle show?
Yeah. And they said, oh, you really can't use the F word. And he was like, oh, okay, I can just take it out. And he was like, oh, why can't I use it? And he was just like, oh, because you're gay. And he was just like, oh, well, the N word's in there. Like,
she said you can't use the F word because you're not gay.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because you can't use the F word because you're not gay. And then he was just like, well, I use the N word. Why do you let that pass? Like, I'm not an N word, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm just thinking to myself, but that doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? It's not like you can't use a word and then make money off of it and make skits around it, and then when you use another word that doesn't have anything to do with you, like a derogatory word that's for another group, and then get mad and say, why can't I use that, but I can use the N-word? But it's not like someone else is putting the N-word in there for you. Mm-hmm. If you don't like the N-word so much and you don't think you're an N-word so much, then why put it in? Yeah. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm just like, I feel like that argument makes absolutely no sense. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's just like, you can't go around calling yourself an N-word, calling your friends an N-word, calling everyone an N-word, and then when they tell you, hey, you're not gay, you can't go around saying the F-word. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You can't be like, well, I'm not an N-word. I'm like, but you use it 10 million times.
Yeah, like I don't use the word, but I know people who do, and it's just fine. And the thing is, black people who do. The thing is that people don't want to be policed in terms of the kind of language they use, particularly when the language refers to them as a group. So a lot of oppressed groups will adopt words that have been used to oppress them and say that we are changing the meaning of it, so on and so forth. I'm not with that, but if that's the argument that people want to use, then go ahead. You can use it. I mean, just use it. You know, I can't stop people from using it. Because my thing is, why use a word that the oppressor has used against you and embrace that word and then redefine it?
But then also,
I get it when you're trying to be sarcastic or when you're trying to, if there's a message behind it, but just to use it, just to try to take the power out of the word by using it. To me, I think part of it really is internalized racism, internalized, heterosexism or whatever. But I can't speak on other groups. I can only speak on being black and how I feel about the word. But you're right. I agree. If you're making money off of it, you've been making money off of that word. That's part of your persona. That's part of your language. And you're going to turn around because this woman said you can't use a word that is derogatory against another group. I mean, that reminds me so much of people who are not black saying, why can't I use the N-word?
Yeah.
Why can't I use the N-word? It's just a word. Why can't I use the N-word? And then people say, this word is very painful. They talk about the history. They contextualize it. And it's not just a word that you hear in rap lyrics. It does have a deeper meaning, right? It comes from someplace. So for him not to understand that as a black person is really, really sad. Like, I'm a big, big, big Dave Chappelle fan. Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, they're probably up there in terms of my top 5 comedians, and I was so disappointed. And there was some problematic stuff in the other one of the Netflix specials, but I'm not part of those oppressed groups, so I get it, how people will be upset. But to me, I thought that at least there was humor. And I thought that he was just on that line for me. But the third special, I agree with you. It was like very, very crude. I was wondering, like, I don't understand how child abuse is. You can joke about that. I don't understand.
It's like you're talking about the other specials, and like you're right, like not a part of those groups, right? But you can, I guess, even when a comedian isn't a part of those groups, and then also the person listening isn't a part of those groups, or maybe you are a part of those groups, right? And you're looking at, and you know that they're not a part of that group, but the humor that the way they come about it isn't like offensive. It's just like an observation. It's just like the guy who's married to the black woman, and he's just like, oh, I'm a white man, my wife is black, and like there's just things I didn't know. Like, y'all don't get out of church till like 4 in the afternoon, you know what I mean? So it's not an offensive thing he's saying. He's just saying that being a white man and my church is like, and then all of a sudden he put in this church, it's just like, wow, like what's going on? It's obviously, but the way he was talking about, like, I just feel like there's something you just don't joke about, and I feel like rape is like up there on things you don't talk about.
I mean, you got to be a real, real skillful comedian. A real, real nuanced comedian, which I think Dave Chappelle is. He can be a nuanced comedian, just like, some other people that I like. But you still, like, you are walking. Like, I remember Chris Rock told a rape joke a long time ago, and I was like, that's not funny. There was nothing about it that was funny.
Like, I feel like the only way a rape joke can be funny is if you are condemning the rapist, or you are trying to make a point
about the criminal justice system.
The criminal justice system.
Or something.
It's like, I don't know. I don't know if he did it on Patriot Act when he was talking. He said something, and then he said something about Me Too, and it was like, it wasn't like he was going to get, like, I feel like the way Dave Chappelle was talking about the Me Too movement, he was like against it, and he was just like, it's just going too far. You're going the wrong way about it. You know what I mean? It was just.
I'm like, who are you?
Yeah.
Who are you? You tell me that I'm going the wrong way. I'm following the wrong path.
Yeah.
As a woman, like, who are you to tell me that my plan of action or my protest is wrong? I just like the audacity. But it also seemed like he was just trying to be a shock jock. He was just like a little kid trying to say a bunch of bad words and say, cancel me, cancel me, cancel me. And to me, that's not the kind of humor I like. I mean, and people are saying that Dave Chappelle is just a comedian. He's not about social commentary. He's not like a politician. He's not blah, 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 blah. But he's also a big part of the culture. He's also a big part of hip-hop culture. He's a big part of black culture. He's known outside of the black community. So he has a very, very, very broad appeal. And if he didn't, he wouldn't have got those millions of dollars from Netflix, right? So not only does he appeal to us, he appeals to the larger audience. And so what he said matters. And I don't think anything that he said was provocative. It was really like a 10-year-old. It was really like sitting there listening to a 12-year-old say a bunch of bad words and say, nah, I don't care if I get on punishment. I'm going to say them anyway. That's not comedy to me. That is not creative. I've heard those arguments. Those are basic arguments that you hear from people who just don't understand certain communities or don't pick up a book. Don't even try to see.
Just
people.
don't even like. And then I really hated throughout the thing. He was just like, "Oh, I like this half the room and he's probably been molested, but it wasn't Michael Jackson." Or he was saying stuff like, "Oh, I have gay friends," or "I have people of the alphabet," which I thought that was creative, but the jokes contexting it weren't great. So you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Is that like he's using that big argument just because I know people. It's like when like white people or people who are oppressing you, like, I have black friends. And I'm like, just because you have friends in that group, that's not an excuse for what you're saying. It doesn't mean that what you're saying isn't offensive. And
if people tell you, if you're not part of a group and people are telling you that it's offensive,
then you should rethink your joke. You should think like maybe it's coming like you told me that at the end he told about a story about a woman walking out. Mm-hmm. Because she said she was molested, and then he comes out and said, "Oh, first of all, I want to say it's not your fault, and then second of all, I didn't rape you." And I'm just like,
and ta-ta bitch,
and ta-ta bitch, and like laughing, and I'm just like that doesn't make like what kind like how is that like? But I just think it's just so funny how the reaction, like I think.
There are a lot of people who are supporting. There are a lot of people who are supporting this. There are a lot of people that I follow on YouTube or Twitter who are saying that this was brilliant. And I'm trying to figure out what part of it is brilliant, because essentially the only thing that he's doing is saying a bunch of bad words. He's like saying basically that misogyny doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. He's saying that gay LGBT have taken it too far, and that could actually, listen, it could be funny, right? That could be funny. But he was just so abrasive. Mm-hmm. His whole thing was, if you're going to say that somebody's taking it too, I even think maybe the whole car thing, that took some nuance. He was talking about the gay man is driving a car, and then the lesbians in the front seat, and then you got whatever. You still have to kind of be really, really smart in order to actually, because the whole point is to be funny, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that there was some nuance there, but I really think the whole point was to target the most marginalized group and just to complain about people being upset. Like, if you're a comedian, you're on stage, you can say whatever you want. I agree. Go ahead and say what you want, right? Say whatever you want. That is your job. That's your space, your venue to do that. But you then can't turn around and get mad when people say, I didn't like that. When people complain. When people say Netflix, you shouldn't be supporting something like this. Like, you can't get mad. You just can't turn around and get mad. If you have I do believe that comedians can go up there and say whatever they feel like they need to say to be funny. Mm-hmm. But they also need to understand that people may find some of their stuff to be not funny and offensive, right?
No, I just think it's funny how people are saying that, oh, what he's saying doesn't really matter, and that it's just like whatever, and he's just a comedian. But I feel like this comedy set is the perfect example of how we like to pick and choose things. You know what I mean? Is that you can't say, oh, what he's just saying is just for fun, it doesn't mean anything. But then turn around and say, oh, wow, you see what he said about not being an N-word? And I'm like, oh, that was so smart. That's
That
just
was
like,
not
that's
smart.
so, that's
It
something, a
wasn't
part of the movement. He's so deep. And I'm like, you can't go around saying that, oh, what he said is not important. But then you guys are like putting him up like he's like, oh, he's like a Black Power movement. And I'm like, that you can't have that in the same sentence. So obviously what he says is definitely important.
People have been retweeting that a lot.
And I just feel like anything... I just feel like, oh, just the things he just said were just so...
I was literally, and I'm a big Chappelle fan. I was like, what is happening here? Like, this is not funny. Like, the whole, I mean, even the Anthony Bourdain thing and the suicide, I'm like, you know, I already know what his point was. Was his point that celebrities had pain too? Or was his point something deeper, like, you know, this Black man who was a genius is working at Foot Locker, and he can deal with all these struggles. Yeah. But this person who had everything, you know, had like a charmed life, couldn't. But I don't understand what that had to do with mental health. But and then he goes on to the Michael Jackson and the whole celebrating being raped by Michael Jackson. Ha. I don't get what the humor is. Like, I don't get, like, whether those people are lying or telling the truth. I don't know, but, and I'm a Michael fan, grew up with Michael and stuff, but you know, he spent a whole lot of time with a whole bunch of little kids in his 30s and 40s. So I just think that in everyday behavior, like in everyday like circumstances, if uncle or cousin, somebody want to be hanging out with a whole bunch of little boys,
I feel like that would have been questioned.
Having sleepovers. So even if nothing happened, I don't know, but I just know that it was something strange.
Another thing about that Michael Jackson thing that you were talking about, when he was saying, oh, like, at least if it's true, then at least you can say that you slept with Michael Jackson. That's your first sexual experience.
That's not
But
funny.
then he said something, he was going back to, like, oh, the rest of us just have, like, you know, awkward dinners and all that stuff. You know what I mean? But this is the thing that I don't understand. You are the same person who is telling these kids who said something happened to them that, oh, we don't believe you, on public television, and you're telling this to multiple people, and constantly these people who said something happened to them, they are the same people going on big platforms saying, oh, you know, he wouldn't do that, he wouldn't do that. Like, they did the same thing for R. Kelly for years. You know what I mean? People acting like celebrities can't do nothing just because they're celebrities. You know what I mean? We hide everything that they do. But I'm saying is that whether it happened or not, I'm just saying
it's not funny.
No, it's not funny. But I'm just saying is that it's like you can't. What I'm trying to say is that things that happen in families stay in families. You know what I mean? But these kids who come out and tell people that something happened to them to a celebrity, these people who with R. Kelly, Michael Jackson, all these people who accuse celebrities of doing something to them, they get made fun of in their jokes. Yeah, they get made fun of. Their jokes forever. They're just put on a public platform. That's something else like that no one else has to go through. So for him to compare like, well, at least you got to sleep with a celebrity. I just think that's absurd. Like all of it's bad. But I'm just saying that nothing's really happening to these kids. I'm like, well, they're being told constantly that their pain is invalid on
a larger
scale than somebody in a tiny family whose relatives would say, oh, it's not a big deal. You know what I mean? Could you imagine just being on TV? Like, we have thousands of examples of publicized accusations of celebrities, and we see how we treat them. We see how much we bring these people down just for our amusement. And then now we just get into the whole R. Kelly thing. And now all these celebrities want to be acting like they acting right. And like, none of them were acting right. Nobody said anything. Also, another thing I really hated is that when he was talking about that R. Kelly document, said, oh, she didn't want me to be in and out.
I looked up her Twitter. I looked up Dream Hampton. Because I was like, I know she probably responded. She said, first of all, she wasn't even there. She doesn't need, the way he set up that joke is totally false. Mm-hmm. She had production, someone in charge of contacting this, a producer, celebrity producer, who was contacting celebrities to be a part of the documentary. And that producer contacted R. Kelly specifically because R. Kelly had 2 skits on the Chappelle show. Because it was during the time of the trial, like 2005, 2006. And she wanted him to do like a commentary on those skits.
Yeah.
And talk about R. Kelly within that context. So it had nothing to do. He made it seem like, oh, I didn't do it because I didn't know R. Kelly. But you knew him enough. You knew enough about the case to write 2 skits about it. One on peeing on a girl.
Mm-hmm.
And one was peeing on a girl. And one I watched, he was like, and I remember he was like in court and they were asking him, do you know about, he was like a witness. Yeah. And so she was asking him directly, and she wrote about it. She was like, all of that is like lies. All of that is like, he just set that up and called her a bitch. Mm-hmm. Oh, yo, bitch, I don't know why that bitch said blah, blah, blah. No. You were contacted by a producer. You were asked to talk about the skits that you produced and wrote in 2005, 2006. So go ahead. What were you going to say about that?
But I'm just saying is that, like, I feel like being a celebrity, you have a lot of power just with your voice, whether you knew him or not. We know that a big portion of the R. Kelly case was black women against black men. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And why we didn't care as much because the women that were accusing him of these things were all black women, right? Mm-hmm. And so I'm saying is that whether he knew him or not, whether those skits existed or not, is the question of, like, what was your initial opinion? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I feel like if I was in that position, and if I was from that mindset, I'd be like, I can't lie. When I first heard it, I didn't believe it. And then now that it's coming out, now I realize I was wrong. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I don't feel like you have to know somebody to be able to comment on something that
because
happened.
his whole job basically is to comment on stuff that happens that's a public conversation. Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, I get your point. Is that's what... Yeah, so I was really disappointed. I was, like, sitting there. I chuckled a couple of times. I was really trying to laugh. Because, Dave Chappelle, that's my man. But it was, like, basic, one-on-one comedy, crude. I'm not into that, shock jock kind of humor. I mean, if you want to say those words, they better come with a whole bunch of nuance and creativity. And I didn't see it here. Like, I remember when the other Chappelle specials came on. And I was like, Zahra, watch this. And watch how he breaks back this comment. Yeah. He's going to bring it back. Mm-hmm. Right? Just wait 20 minutes. It's going to come back. It was just like...
It's just cringe. It's constant cringe.
Ugh, the F word. I'm going to say it. Cancel me.
It just felt like a kid who had a bad break and had a bad time for whatever he did, and then decides to come back with another, I don't know, skit project and be like...
He seemed like he was mad.
Yeah.
He seemed like he was mad and he was going after everybody. And my thing is, you are a multi-millionaire. You live in the middle of nowhere in Ohio with your kids and your family. And you live like a charmed life. What folks say on Twitter, what folks say in their vlogs or blogs, it's not going to affect you that much. Like, what's going to happen? You're not going to get another job? People are still going to see you. You have a whole lot of support. Because the way you think is the majority. Like, the things that you said, a lot of people in America support it. Mm-hmm. So you're always going to work. Now you got hardcore conservatives supporting you. So you're always going to have a job now.
But I just feel like...
So, I'm just trying to figure out why is he so angry? Like, you can say, you got another contract, or maybe this is part of the deal with Netflix. You got your specialist here. I mean, you are a millionaire. Like, what is it? Like, why are you so upset?
Like, I'm just wondering, like, I feel like if I was a celebrity and I ended up on a alt-right, especially being is he a progressive? He's progressive, right?
I thought he was. I mean, definitely on, like, racial issues.
Well, say progressive or whatever. If I ended up on a conservative site and not for, like, wrecking the system or whatever, I would be questioning my approach. You know what I mean? I'll be start questioning my material, my image, like what I'm doing on social media. I feel like that's just something I should talk about. Also, another thing he was talking about Kevin Hart, he was he wrote something a long time ago. He wanted to host the Oscars, right? And
I thought what he said was, I don't know why black men want to host the Oscars. I don't know what that would be a lifelong dream. I thought that was funny. So that little things like that was like, oh, yeah, that is funny. It's a lifelong dream to host the Oscars. Like, where does that come from?
But then he was like going into. Okay.
So the lights went out. Oh, the battery died.
Battery died. Lights went out.
We're
now back.
And this food is making me sick. I think it's the mushrooms. I think I have a mushroom thing now. Like soggy mushrooms. Ugh. I think I'm going to have an aversion to it. Now I won't be able to eat mushrooms because I'm going to remember this meal. But anyway, go ahead. What were you saying?
Okay. So Kevin Hart situation where he said that. So Kevin Hart said he wanted to host the Oscars, and then he said that it was all ruined. I guess his lovely dreams of being the Oscar host. Because he wrote some tweets a few years ago, and basically in one of those tweets, he basically said that if my son had homosexual tendencies, then I would smash him over the head with a dollhouse. And then he tried to dumb it down or set it aside by saying that, oh, well, he was joking because, then you had to go out and buy a dollhouse to smash over his head. I'm like, that makes absolutely no, because you could take any offensive quote and say, well, technically it's a joke because, I would need to go out and buy a gun. I would need to go out and get this, and I would need to go out and get that. I'm like, well, usually jokes involve extreme things, but that doesn't mean that jokes don't carry weight. That jokes don't. We already live in a homophobic world, and
jokes are meaningful just how people respond to them. Like, we have social media now. People retweet everything. They have a commentary. We're having a commentary about it. So jokes are meaningful because people talk about them. And people are attracted. And people remember certain jokes of their favorite comedians. It's just like rap hooks or rap lines. People remember those things. And you just can't say, oh, it's just a song. It has no meaning. It does have a meaning if it's meaningful to people, and people always saying that music or art in general, whether it's comedy, whether it's music, whether it's visual art, is a reflection of the public, right? Mm-hmm. You're capturing something about public spaces, whatever. Yeah. And so it has a meaning for that reason. Like, otherwise, I don't think Dave Chappelle will be doing what he's doing, right? Yeah. He would just be a 1-2 kind of, comedian. Like, blah, blah, boom, blah, blah, boom, blah, blah,
But then
boom.
also it just tells you, I don't know if I said this already in the video, that we like to pick and choose our issues. And I'm just very sure if, Kevin Hart had a tweet beforehand and said something about the black community, Dave Chappelle would not be having this joke. He would probably be like, oh, he's just dumb. He shouldn't have done that. And he would be condemning him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he may be, but I don't know, because a lot of times people protect each other. Like, people, you would be surprised how certain people, certain comedians, certain groups of people will not say anything about their brothers and sisters because they, because they don't want to. It could be the same reason why Dave Chappelle didn't want to do the documentary, or a lot of people, she asked a lot of people to do, but
the documentary wasn't about black people. It was about black men. But I'm saying that if he had said something about a black man, I'm very sure that black men would not be having the same situation.
If he wasn't part of the clique, if it was somebody who wasn't, particularly somebody who was considered not black, or part of their community, their sort of hip-hop comedy kind of community, then I would agree. But I do think people, a lot of times, we are silent when black men mess up, more so than black women.
I feel like it's a bit... I feel like that silence comes up when it doesn't involve them. When it starts involving black men so suddenly have a voice. You understand? So if he had said something about black men, it would have been a fit. Because obviously we had the whole R. Kelly thing for years and years, and no one said anything about that. And that involved black women. So I'm saying that if he had said something about black men, right, or something that affected black men, it would have been an absolute fit. But since he had said something about gay people, right, and then specifically, look, we already know that the black community and a lot of communities just don't are just homophobic, you know. And so to say like they don't want kids who are a part of the LGBTQ whatever community, and so we make jokes, and we think we do awful things to these kids, and we actually, and then we say, oh, it's just a joke, but like we know what happens in our communities to Black people in the LGBTQ community.
And this is not to say two things. This is not to say that we can't joke about those things.
Yeah.
I think we can joke about those things based on our lived experience.
Yeah.
We have LGBT people in our community. I mean, in our households, right? Yeah. We have everyday experiences with people from that community, and I think we can talk about those experiences because some of them are funny. Yeah. Right. We can laugh at ourselves. We can make jokes about them. I just think that you have to be smart of when you do it. You just can't just be crude and offensive. And also, I think if someone makes a mistake, I do believe if someone makes a mistake and they write something or say something, they can be, you know, people do change. I do believe that people sincerely can change and do change, whether it's for that, you know, whether it's for their money, you know, being threatened or not. I think people can see their wrongs and make adjustments in their behavior, whether they believe it or not. Yeah. So I do give people that. So it's not even about, I mean, I don't think, yeah, Kevin Hart's a whole nother story, but I just don't understand why he was so angry. Like, just angry the entire time. It wasn't enjoyable at all. Yeah. It was like, I was trying to laugh because it's Dave Chappelle, but I was just like, it's just not funny to me, you know?
It's just like, you start the show and then you're just like smiling and then it just goes downhill and it's just like it just doesn't go back up. But okay, so the end of that, tell me about your favorite Netflix show. That's how we're gonna end it on a happy note.
Like right now or like overall?
Just give overall. Give me top 2, 3.
Okay, so what's the show that we just finished? I like Sense8.
Casa de Papel.
That's not really... Is that Netflix?
Yeah.
Okay. I would say... No, but it's not Casa de Papel. It's Sense8. And what's that? It's not Orange is the New Black. It is. It's not the one with the people with superpowers. Because we were watching Sense8.
Working Mom?
No. We were watching Sense8 and it was another show that we both liked.
Stranger Things?
No. I like Stranger Things, but that wouldn't be my top. Oh my God.
Wait, what is it about?
Oh, maybe it was like How to Get Away with Murder, but that's not. Because I was trying to figure out what shows when I go. Remember, I was like, oh, they have a new season. Okay, Dear White People. All right, Dear White People. I'm trying to see what notifications I get. It's another show besides Sense8. I'm serious. And we're like, another season. Remember, like
3%?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would say 3%. 3% would be not my number one.
That's your number one?
I would say the first 2 seasons.
Okay.
3% definitely is up there in the top 5. I would say Casa de Papel. I would say I really like Working Moms. And I like Sense8. Is there any other?
There's a lot.
You said 2 to 3? Okay, so since we're going to do that, so I'll just do what I'm into right now. I would say Casa de Papel. And I would say Working Moms, but I'm not going to say Working Moms. I'll say 3%.
Okay. My favorite are... Okay, number 1 would have to be Casa de Papel. Now that they call Money Heist, but whatever. We like Casa de Papel. After that, The Umbrella Academy. And then Stranger Things. So, those are my top 3.
Stranger Things?
Yeah. Like, you know, I need to take a break every so often, but I like the whole aesthetic.
You didn't really get into it the first season.
No, yeah, because I didn't want to watch it, but then I just started watching it, and I binge watched, and then I got into it. Like, you know, look, out of all the Netflix ones, yeah.
Not Working Moms?
Like, you told me, like, am I going to eat mapo tofu to it? No. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So those are our favorites. Tell us some of yours, I guess. And bye.
Peace out.
Kiss, kiss. Heart. What's that? Bye.